Hello, everybody. Today, I would like to talk about democracy and being a Christian. Now, in the modern society, we know that most countries are democratic countries, and almost everywhere, billions of Christians believe in democracy. They'd rather choose democracy over one party rule or over a kingship because of the idea that have been sold that about democracy, that democracy as it is defined as a government by the people, especially the rule of the majority, a government in which the supreme power is vested in the people and exercised by them directly or indirectly for a system of representation usually involving periodically held elections. Now, this sounds very good, but I remember a singer saying that there is no democracy. Now, I really don't see people, where people really govern themselves. First of all, if you talk about elections, you say you voted for the president, but the fact is, you didn't even know about that person before he became a public figure. And how did he become a public figure? How did he won? How did he win the nomination? And he was actually the nominee of the party. And I bet that you probably did not cast your vote for that person to become the nominee, but a certain group of people decided to make him the nominee. He became their candidate. He was their candidate, and then they just promoted and portrayed him as the candidate of the party that you associate with. And then become the more, and then they become the candidate, and they get elected. But that's just an aspect of democracy. But the idea is told that democracy is the government of people by people. But if you consider, really sit down and consider how democracy is done, you can realize that it's not really the government of people by people, but it's government of people by a group of people. That's what I see. Now, comparing now, viewing democracy in the light of the Christian belief, I wonder why Christian would put the neck under the guillotine of democracy. And some even say that it is God. It was never God's idea for man to govern man. It was not God's idea for man to be supreme rulers of man. What I mean is that yet they will have representative, they will be representative who will lead the people as Moses led the people. But it was always God who was supposed to be the king. Remember in the book of Samuel, the Israelites came to God and asked him, they empty Samuel and wanted to have their own king. They wanted to do things their own way. And democratically, the people do what they want. It's the God and the people are the people, isn't it? So they went to God and asked. So they were always showing signs of democratic signs. So they went to God, we don't want you, we want a king. We want to do things like the nations do. But God was infuriated, the Bible says. God didn't like it at all. Yet he gave them what they requested so that they would learn that for the consequences and the drawbacks, that it was not a good idea. Because God said, I was already your king, but why you want another king? And he gave him everything that would follow. He taught him everything that would follow, and it happened. So God is the king, and if you understand the principle of kingship, the kingship is that God is the judge, God is the ruler, God is the one who makes the rule. He tells us what to do, and we are servants. That's how God works. And by principle, He gave us the law, and we're supposed to follow the law. He gave us principles, we're supposed to follow the principle. If you consider the church, you can see that the Bible clearly says that Christ is the head of the church, meaning that He is the judge. We cannot amend rules of the church because God does demand. God gives the rules, and if there is any amendment to be done, it will be done by God. What we are, we just servants, and we do what God will is. So, democracy is prone and proclaimed even by Christians as being something that is of God. It is not godly. God has shown us in the Bible that His way of ruling is kingship, and that He is the king of His people, and that He makes the rules and the people obey. And He does whatever pleases Him. He does not do what pleases man. He does whatever pleases Him, and that's the way it should be, and the way it is. So, what do you think? Yeah, democracy is the best system that human can have. That's an opinion. It might be or it might not be. Well, I'm not going to delve into that. But the fact that whatever human beings have as a system of government is wrong. It will not achieve that which God has purposed. And God has purposed to achieve those things for kingship. When Jesus Christ comes and reigns on this earth, He's not going to reign as a democratic king or a democratic person or ruler. He's going to reign as a king. So in the kingdom of God, there is no democracy. It is God who rules. He tells us what to do, and we obey. Why do we obey? Because we trust that He has our best at heart. And the Bible says that He is the one who teaches us what is best for us. So He knows. Even when you consider the beginning, you can see that God made Adam and Eve. And when He made Adam and Eve, He gave them the shape, the form that He wanted to give them. He gave them the role and position that He wanted to give them. He gave them the authority He wanted to give them. He made Adam male, He made Eve female. That was God's choice. And when He put them in the Garden of Eden. That was His decision. And He gave them a command. You may eat of all the trees of the garden except of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. That was the command. And when they disobeyed, He chased them out of the garden. There was no democracy, voting. When He made Adam and Eve, Adam, and He said that, okay, it's not a good thing for men to be alone. He made Eve. He did not consult with Adam. He made Adam because He knew what Adam needed. And when He made Adam, He gave him a task to perform. And when the time came for Adam to name animals, He brought the animal to Adam. I mean, that's the beginning when there was no sin. If you consider angels, do you think angels have a say in what God has to do or wants to do? No. Angels are servants, but they're in heaven. They're holy, they're perfect. So you may think, okay, because we're perfect, we need to know. Perfection does not mean that we will do what God will do what we want. God will down His word. When Jesus Christ already said, if possible, let this cup be taken away from me, but not my will, but your will. Jesus Christ He lived on earth, perfect life, was holy, but still He was a son, but He was a servant son. He was doing what the will of the Father was. And when it was not the will of the Father, He wouldn't do it. So He did not go on saying, okay, I also have right this, right that. Yeah, He had the right of, as a son that we all know. I mean, when in your house you have your sons, they got rights because you love them. And certain things that, I mean, there are no rigid boundary, and they know, okay, they can move from this boundary to another boundary. They can do things in those boundaries, yet they still have to obey the will of the heart. I don't know why we think that we can have that thing when even the household teaches us that in the household it's not a democracy. Household is not a democracy. It is the father that gives household that gives the role alongside of the mother, and the children, they should obey. They may have to not be time of consultation, but the final say is under the parents. I mean, if we try democracy, I mean, if father might be voted out of the house, the mother can be voted out of the house. Imagine you have 5 kids in 2 parents, and if they vote on the issue, what happened? And if the 5 kids decide that no, 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 daddy, you're wrong, we voted against your decision, so his decision was turned, right? Because it's democratic. I mean, the role of the majority, isn't it? Let's stick to the Bible. That's the word of God. That's the right way, and anyway, that's the only way.